Everybody talks about, let's all work together, Fords work together. And, I'm up front, and all of a sudden the Fords don't work together. So it is what it is, as soon as he could, he put me 3 wide, and then he tried to clear himself, and he wasn't clear. And, I hate it for him. I know that he wasn't intentionally trying to do that. He was just trying to get every inch he could, but there was really nothing I could do there at the end.
I just was surprised by the situation and what happened. I thought that was going to be the plan. I would have thought, but it's part of it. I mean, he's racing too, I guess, and we can't win these things alone. we've proven that quite often, but we did what we can do. So
you have an explanation of why he hung you out?
I didn't really give him a chance to talk.
Didn't give him a chance to talk. I think Logano referring to Michael McDowell right there. Joey Logano had to be one of the favorites coming into the race. Won the 150 with a power move from, I think, third or fourth. Looked good all day long, but it was surprising he couldn't get things to go right on that last restart, but he seemed to be upset with McDowell because of it.
Yeah, he just wanted a little bit of help from McDowell, but you could hear from McDowell he was upset because he didn't think all the people were doing what they were supposed to do earlier. So we see right here they take off, and McDowell's kind of by himself at this point, but things change drastically as they enter turn 3.
Yeah, Joey Logano has a huge run right here, DJ, and he's underneath the 18, and it looks like the 34, right? A forward pusher. What could be better? But as it spins forward, it doesn't work out that way.
No, I don't care if it's a Ford or whatever it is. This is a situation. You've got the 18 hung out. You've got nobody right behind you. You get on the bumper on the bottom with the 22 right there. Yeah, and I like Michael McDowell. He does a really good job of getting himself in position with equipment that's not quite as good as some of the others there, but he did an outstanding job there. But as a driver, you just have to know the situation and what you're getting ready to encounter. I don't care what's happened the rest of the day. You put all of that aside. You can't be thinking about that. Right there, his move, I don't care if that would have been a Toyota or a Chevrolet. His move is to get on the bumper of that car in front. That gives both of them an opportunity to make a run at the 11 car.
That's the key. It wasn't about him helping Joey. It would have been that was probably in his best interest to try to push, because the 18, he was hung out by himself. He had zero help from behind. They both could have cleared him, would have given Michael a little bit better chance to win. So, and Joey's part, right? You always get mad when the guy behind you doesn't push you. I mean, how many plate races that you left and you're mad, and everybody's mad at somebody. So this is the only time that somebody got mad at somebody because they didn't push them.
Well, crew chief at a speedway race is very frustrating because once you make your last pit stop, you truly are just a passenger. But we talked in the first segment about Denny Hamlin's experience in those last 2, 3, 4 rows. You mentioned Mike McDowell. He does a great job in a car that perhaps we know isn't as fun like those front runners. But, guys, do we have to think just not having the experience in those speedway races? I know he runs well at the speedways, but not been put in this position enough to know? Or you think it was just a simple mistake?
So I think it's even more complicated than that. If you're Joey Logano, you're going into the Daytona 500 to win the race. Period, in the story. But if you're Michael McDowell, you got to be having a little bit different picture. You got to be thinking a little bit big picture. This is a day where you can earn points for a team that you probably don't have as good of an advantage when you go to Atlanta, Vegas, other races that are coming up. So the mentality going into the race for a team that doesn't have the funding that some other people is a little different. Like if Michael McDowell drives his car the way Joey Logano drives his car, he's probably not going to finish in the front because you probably doesn't have the same speed that Joey Logano has. So, you got to kind of wrap it all up. Michael McDowell, I know he wants to win the Daytona 500. Don't get me wrong, but driving for a team that doesn't have the funding, what you consider successful is different than it is when you drive for Penske.
Yeah, and let's say this too. These decisions are split-second decisions. It's easy to sit there and watch TV and see everything develop. He's focused on what I need to do right now. I've got one opportunity, one move to make. Sometimes you make the right one. Unfortunately, in my opinion, this was the wrong move, but he still had a great day.
Well, we're picking on Michael McDowell at this point, but a lot went down in that final restart. We just showed you the short version. Let's go through this last 2 laps, guys. Right here it all starts. We've talked about it already. The team orders the 11 down in front of the 18. It lines up the Joe Gibbs Racing cars, but I don't think it's over. I mean, I changed a bunch of times who I thought could win the race, and it starts right here with this shove that the 18 gets off turn 2.
Well, I thought right here the 18 was in great shape. You can see the 22's got a big push on the 18. The 18 clears the 34. Now, I think that they're in great shape, and now the 22 is getting close to clearing him. I thought the 18 would have a great push right here.
Yeah, and I think Logano, I think the damage he had on the right rear was hindering him, or left rear, was hindering him some, but he got a great push, and I think Kyle Busch maybe thought right there was his chance. Denny was ready for everything that they were going to do, though.
Well, now it goes from Kyle Busch to Joey Logano as they exit turn 4 right here. When Joey Logano hangs a left and gets to that quarter panel of Kyle Busch, in my mind, this is going to be game over. Joey Logano's going to win the Daytona 500.
Look at this run right here that Joey gets. The 18 tries to block him. Kyle tried to block him, but there was so much momentum from the 22, he couldn't slow him down. Watch the 18. He goes up trying to go to the bottom. He jumps way up the racetrack. Now the 47's clear, and I'm thinking the 22 is going to win the race, but he just never got the push he was hoping to get.
Yeah, at this point, I was really surprised that the 34 got the run to even get in the position that we were just talking about to go down there and push the 22 and get himself in a position for at least a top 3 finish here.
Well, we highlighted right here Michael McDowell's choice. Why Joey Logano doesn't like it is the same reason why Denny Hamlin loved it. Because look at Denny Hamlin. He now has 2 car lengths on 2 cars side by side. It's easy to see where the momentum's coming from. A lot can go down in 5 miles, but Denny Hamlin played it perfect, right? He picked up every run. Got a little fortunate. I'm not going to call it lucky. Fortunate, because you don't get lucky to run for 4 hours at Daytona. All those wrecks. There are so many different ways to win and lose that race.
The other thing is, and you and I both been in this situation, and you on the pit box, your heart rate is a little different with 2 to go than it is with 400. I mean, it is crazy how pumped up. And I mean, you cannot describe, because on top of winning the Daytona 500, having that opportunity, you're pretty sure you're going to get wrecked too, right? It's like, it's just how it is. So when, like, if you ever looked at a heart rate monitor, it's nuts in those last 2 or 3 laps. So the decision making that has to happen, as you said it a minute ago, it's easy to sit here and watch a replay and say, well, I'd have done this. Well, get yourself in there going 200 when you got to make a decision like that with everything on the line. That's why it's so difficult. And that's why watching those last 2 laps, we can talk about how Denny Hamlin coasted to a win, anything but.
Right.
He had to do everything exactly right.
Yeah, I said in that first segment that they literally handed it to Denny, but I say that because I know how good he is out front.
Yeah.
That was literally giving him the range to the whole thing. How about Eric Jones, too? The job that he did with a torn-up race car and everything that they'd been through to come up through there and the moves that he made, amazing.
Hey, NASCAR fans, thanks for checking out the NBC Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe below for the latest NASCAR news, race highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.